What's up, family? Hey, I want to jump on here. I want to have a real heart to heart with you guys. Today's going to be real intimate, um, real transparent, okay? Stay with me. We're going to go somewhere. You can tell by the title. Sit back and buckle up your seatbelts. Let's go. I've always been the type of person that, man, I've always had women around me. Always. And, excuse me, shaking the camera. I don't have my tripod with me. I left it out in the truck. But I've always had women around me. Always. And I've always had women that fed my ego. And what I mean by that, man, since I was in junior high school, I was having sex. Okay? Um, Nothing to be proud about. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, but again, you got to understand the background. And I was talking about this because, you know what? We have to understand that there are reasons why we do what we do. And most of us never take the time to understand and go back to the root cause. You know what I mean? Stay with me. And so it's easy to sit back and say, man, that dude's a tramp. That dude's a manhole. That dude's a whore. He's a dog. He's whoop-de whoop-de whoop. You know what I mean? Look at all the women he slept with. Blah, 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 blah. It's easy to demonize somebody when you've never walked in their footsteps. It's easy to demonize somebody when you don't know what in the heck is going on in their head emotionally. You know what I mean? And so when I say that I've had a lot of sex with a lot of different women, and man, I got started at an early age. I did, you know what I mean? But again, man, I was tormented, you know? And again, this is not about justifying anything. This is not about, making excuses or any of the other stupid, ignorant stuff, you know what I mean? Come on, family, we deeper than that, you know what I mean? We better than that. This is about just being real and transparent, you know what I mean? This is about, man, helping other people understand why they do what they do. You know what I mean? And so when you sit back and you look at the fact, man, what was going on with this dude? Man, what was it about him, or what was it about his life that made him live the way that he did? Made him make the choices that he did. Again, you got to understand, man, at 6 years old, I was molested twice, by dudes in church. And so me having sex with women and girls when I was a kid was a way of showing that, man, I wasn't gay. It was a way of me proving to myself and to the world that I wasn't gay. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking being gay or any of that other stuff, teach their own. That's not me, you know what I mean? I've always been attracted to women, always, you know? And so for me, it was always about trying to prove that I wasn't gay, you know what I mean? And the women, they had no idea the demons and the issues I was dealing with. They just knew, man, this dude was like, he stayed ready. He was always wanting to have sex, you know what I mean? And so sex became a drug for me. I was fiending for it, you know what I mean? Because again, in the back of my mind, I had these issues. I had these underlying circumstances, that, man, and sex was the only way to calm that beast. Sex was the only way to tame that monster, it was to quiet those voices in my head, was to have sex, and like any drug, man, your tolerance increases. And so one woman wasn't good enough anymore. Having two women in the same day wasn't good enough. Three women, four women at the same day, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't a challenge no more, you know what I mean? And so it was all about, okay, I'm having two women at the same time. I'm having three women at the same time. I'm having four women at the same time. Why? Because I always had to keep going more and doing more and doing more just to get that same high, just to get the same fix. You know what I mean? Because any guy could have sex with a woman. Big deal. You know what I mean? That's nothing. But can you get a woman to go pick another woman out and bring her back to the pad? Can you have three women at the same time? Can you have four women at the same time? You know what I mean? And so these were like issues that I had. you know. Again, I'm not proud of it. I'm glad that I ain't there no more. You know what I mean? Um, and it's weird because people look at me and they, women and guys, they automatically think, man, dude, you knocking down the women, you pulling. It's like, man, I'm so not that. You know what I mean? I'm so not into that. You know what I mean? That's so not me. You know, um, and to be honest, man, sex did two things for me. You know, sex quiet the demons in me as far as feeling like I had to prove that I wasn't gay, but it also showed me that I was wanted. It made me feel needed. It made me feel valued. Again, understand, my father was incarcerated, and he'd been incarcerated since I was 2 years old. Understand that my mother was murdered at 2, and the household that I grew up in was not affectionate at all. You know what I mean? In fact, we were made to feel like we weren't wanted and that we were an inconvenience. And so I never felt like I fit in. You know what I mean? And so by having sex with all these women, man, I felt valued. I felt wanted. I felt needed. And so sex did two things for me. You know, it made me feel that way. And all at the same time, it proved to me that I wasn't gay. Okay? And so one day I was in LA and I heard this voice. I'm going to say God. I heard God say, Elijah, you know you're not gay. And I was like, yeah, and I know that. And again, the voice said, Elijah, you know you're not gay. I said, yeah, I know. And then he said, well, why are you doing what you're doing? I said, what are you talking about? If you know you're not gay, why are you sleeping with all these women? If you know you're not gay, why are you having sex with all these different women? And even though you don't want to have sex sometimes, you're forcing yourself to have sex. What are you trying to prove? And it hit me, the light went off. It was like, bing. It's like, duh. And from that point on, I changed. You know, I didn't feel like I had to have sex with everybody. You know what I mean? And again, I didn't care whether you were pretty or whether you were normal looking or ugly according to society. Man, none of that stuff mattered to me. I didn't care if you was skinny, if you was heavy set. I didn't care about your nationality. None of that stuff mattered to me. I had three standards. Yeah, when I say standards, I had three laws. You had to be a woman, you had to be a willing participant, and you had to be of age. That was it. That was it. I had no standards whatsoever other than those three things. You had to be a woman, you had to be of age, and you had to be a willing participant. And so, it is what it is, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because I was sitting there, I was talking to my brother-in-law yesterday, and I was telling him, I said, dude, you know, this is going to sound crazy, but man, it's been like 9 months. You know, 9 months since I've had any type of intimate, you know, sexual relationship, you know what I mean? 9 months since I've done anything, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about I don't ejaculate, I don't, you know, I don't do any of that stuff, you know what I mean? Stay with me, we're going somewhere. And he was just looking at me, and I explained to him, I was like, man, you know, I've never done that long, ever, ever, since I started having sex in junior high school, you know what I mean? I think the longest I've ever went without any type of intimate touch was like 3 months, I think. I think 3 months. And I think I did that like a couple times, and I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself for going 3 months. You know what I mean? And it's been 9 months now and counting. You know what I mean? And it's not. I'm not saying that I don't like sex. I enjoy sex. I enjoy the connection. You know what I mean? I enjoy the touch. I enjoy the intimacy. But life isn't just about that. You know what I mean? Life isn't just about that. Okay? And so, man, I want so much more. I want so much more. You know what I mean? I want somebody, and I was talking to this young lady I hadn't seen in like 25 years. It's like, man, I want to be swept off my feet. I want to be blown away. The next woman come into my life, man, the next time I have sex with somebody or this young lady, man, I want to be swept off my feet. And you know what? I've only had that happen one time in my life. I've only been swept off my feet once, and that was by my wife that passed away a few years ago, about 5 years ago. That's the only time I've ever been swept off my feet. You know what I mean? Um, and that's what I'm looking for. You know, I'm looking for somebody that I could be engaged with emotionally, spiritually. You know what I mean? Intellectually. You know, and just the sex is just the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? And sex has always been the most important thing to me. It ain't no more, you know. Um, but again, in order for me to make that transition, in order for me to understand that, I had to look at the big picture. I had to go back and see where I fell off the track. You know what I mean? Where the wheels fell off. You know what I mean? What went wrong? And it went back to the fact that, man, I had been molested. And so from that perspective, I had to prove that I wasn't gay. And you can only prove that you're not gay by sleeping with the opposite sex. And then as far as the feeling wanting to feel wanted and needed and things of that nature. Again, that went back to my childhood as far as my mom being dead at 2, my father been incarcerated, and the household that I grew up in not been intimate, not been affectionate in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, but being um, destructive in the aspect that, man, they were constantly telling us and putting us down and making us feel that we were unwanted. And so sex made me feel wanted, you know what I mean? And so in order for us to grow and develop, we have to understand and go back to the root cause of, man, where things went wrong. You know what I mean? And until you truly understand that, you haven't really learned the full lesson, you know? And so you're going to keep finding yourself in the same situation, different people, same crap, different day, you know, until you truly understand the lesson. You have to understand the lesson, you know. Do I look forward to having sex again? Heck yeah, you know what I mean? But it can't be just with anybody, you know what I mean? I'm not going to degrade myself. I'm not going to um, put myself in a situation to where, man, I'm just being connected with just anybody. You know what I mean? Everybody can't be on my level, and everybody ain't on my level. And I'm not saying that to put people down. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? You just don't hook up with anybody. And in the past, I did. And now, again, man, I'm looking for somebody that's going to sweep me off my feet. And it has to start with the conversation. It has to start with their intellect. It has to start with their spirituality. And the sex is like the last thing. It's the least important thing. My hope and prayer is that you learn to understand why you do what you do, why you value what you value, and that you grow beyond that. I love you guys. Happy healing.